everybody, and welcome to the Practice Squad Jobber podcast. Today, very special day. Guest with us today, Davey Richards. Davey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I'm eating. I'm in a rush, so I will. I will not. If I'm lip smacking, tell me to just swallow.
Well, you've recently become a very busy guy. So Team Ambition's been a thing for a little while. We learned about it when we interviewed Tootie, and she had nothing but great things to say about you and Team Ambition. You guys recently started a wrestling school, or at least got a new gym for it.
Yep.
Uh, what about Team Ambition is going to stand out from other wrestling schools? Walk me through the lineup of coaches that you guys have, and anything else you want to say about Team Ambition?
It was very organic. So the first incarnation of Team Ambition was me, Tony Kazina, and Kyle O'Reilly, and it was never meant to be a wrestling school, or anything of that sort. It was a team. It was us three, and New Japan had sent King Fale over, and then all of a sudden Travis Banks from New Zealand showed up, and then two guys from England and a couple of guys from California. I'm like, okay, so but we never had a school. We just trained together, and so then fast forward when I wanted to when my medical school stuff was dying down, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go back to wrestling, because I didn't want to go back if I couldn't give it 110%, because
Right.
anyone who knows me, first and foremost, is like my in-ring performance is by far the most important. So so I was like, well, I need a school. And so when I left to concentrate on medical school, I completely stepped away from wrestling because I didn't want to get those tendencies, So I, all I knew was like, oh, Michael Elgin has a school. I'll go down to his school and he'll let me train in the ring and stuff. And I didn't know that some bad decisions had been made.
Right.
And Mike needs to go take care of himself. And so anyway, so I walk into the school and I'm like, well, who's the trainer? And they're like, do you want to be the trainer? And I'm like, what happened to Mike? And they fill me in. And so it was very organic because they needed a trainer and I needed teammates. So it was very organic, but the gym was just, it was in squalor. It was not, the gym was not well taken care of. But which wasn't that bad in the summer and the fall, but come winter in St. Louis with no heat, it was bad. So, and I don't even remember. Everything was so organic. I don't quite remember. Like, I never pitched Team Ambition because I never want anything to be about me. I want it to be about us. But I think they were really adamant about the Team Ambition thing, and it just really just took off, and it just became like more than a team, more than a school. It's kind of it's a part of like the wrestling culture here in St. Louis. That's why we really promote, our city, and which I'm very thankful, because I'm not from St. Louis. I'm from Seattle, and but this city has really taken me in, and it will always be home now. But we outgrew it, and we kept getting more and more students, and and we needed a new space, and we just found this incredible, Warhorse and this guy Eric Allen are just like, I can train wrestlers. I've been wrestling since I was 10 years old. I can wrestle, I can do that. But when it comes to like setting up PayPals, baby, my struggles with technology are well documented, and billing software and things like that. So I have a really good team that takes care of all that. And so, yeah, we bought in a brand new ring. We made I wanted a full training facility. And I think that's what sets us apart, because it's not just a ring somewhere and you go and you learn some wrestling moves. Like, I'm really big on we have amateur wrestling mats. I'm going to teach amateur wrestling, catch wrestling. And, we have a full strength conditioning thing. We have Warhorse takes care of like promo stuff. And so I want an elite training center, because, if you look at like mixed martial arts, you have like American Top Team, that's a full immersion. We're creating athletes. And so it's been really good. I mean, we already, we have about 30, 40 students, and it's been a lot of work. I had no idea opening your own business was this much work, but it's been really good. And, and I think what sets it apart is the members within, and really just the wrestling community that we have here in St. Louis. So it's a very synergistic thing.
Absolutely. And my girlfriend is actually somebody who is looking for a wrestling school right now, and she's
Yeah.
got three on the list, and Team Ambition is one of them.
Yeah.
One of the things that attracts her most, other than we've got some friends out there, is you guys have a payment plan that's kind of like a membership to a gym.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be at once.
No.
Tell us a little bit how that decision came to be made, because when you look at wrestling schools, it's like $2 to $3 grand up
Yeah.
front, and a lot of people just don't have that laying around. Is this going to help bring that next crop of wrestlers more out of St. Louis than maybe anywhere else?
Right. You know, again, it was so organic, I can't really pinpoint a thing, but I know for
Right.
me, I'm very blessed. See, I have to tread lightly here. I'm very blessed in the sense that, you know, I'm a doctor, so
Yep.
so I don't need wrestling anymore for the money, which is the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I don't need to wrestle anymore. But in not needing to wrestle, you find out I find out how much I just love it and I want to do it,
Right.
and for the right reasons now. So when we started this school, obviously it's a business. You always want to turn a profit.
Yep.
But it wasn't. I know for me. I mean, I literally I took out the rest of my school loans and paid to go train with Paul down in Atlanta, and you know, it was, I lived in my car for 6 months. And it sucked, you know, and like
Yeah.
so we. I'm a firm believer that the most successful people come from very humble or even
Mhm.
difficult backgrounds, and I want to give those people the same opportunity. And you know, if I can go to a college and get a scholarship, if I can go to any number of things, like why should our wrestling academy be any different? You know, that's why we did a tryout. We selected one person. Their tuition's completely free,
Mhm.
um, and because we have such a strong team, you know, we're not dependent on someone like we need 3 grand right now. You know what I mean? If you want
Right.
to pay that, that's great. But if you want to do the payment plan, like a gym, that's fine too. And there's different tiers for what you know, and you can always change and everything like that. And so, and you know, we're always adding. I really want to add a women's only class. That's only the last class I really want to add. But yeah,
That would be awesome.
yeah, you know, because you know, St. Louis hosted the first NWA all women's pay per view, you
Hmm.
know, and you know, so I really want to, and obviously, you know, like right now it's all co-ed. We have 3 females, and they're actually really good. 2D being one of them.
Oh,
And
Tootie's amazing.
yeah, yeah, and we have 2 more brand new people, but they just show a lot of promise. And so, but you know, women's wrestling is different than men's wrestling, you know, and I mean that with the utmost respect.
Right.
Just like hardcore wrestling is different than technical wrestling,
Hmm.
and so you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking someone's money and trying to teach them women's wrestling. That's not my place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just like I wouldn't take someone's money, like I'm not going to teach a promo class. You know, that's Warhorse. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
better than that than me. You know, and like so. So you know, my struggle has been to find a full-time female trainer right now. But I talked to like Kylie Ray, and we're gonna have them come in and do like some women's night out. You know what I mean? Where it's a training center. It's like where I go to jujitsu, they have these certain like open mats where it's only women allowed, and I think that'll be great. You know, they can all feed off each other. You know, so it's coming.
I think you just sold my girlfriend on Team Ambition.
Mhm.
The one of the other 3 schools that she was looking at is freelance, and the
Yeah,
big reason was Kylie Ray. That is her absolute favorite person in
yeah,
the wrestling business. So if you've got her coming down
yeah.
to Team Ambition, I don't think I'm going to be able to stop my girlfriend from moving
Yeah.
out to St. Louis for a few months.
You're
So,
very welcome.
all right. So my co-host Clark Feldman, he had a question for you.
Mhm.
Um, Tag team wrestling. Most schools teach the basics, but you rarely hear or see tag seminars. Is
Yeah,
that going to be an emphasis at Team Ambition?
yeah. Everything will be. Like I said, so I really want a very holistic style approach to wrestling, to where I firmly believe, like, you know, like you have to know how to amateur wrestle, you have to know like how to, you know, at least do a little bit of shoot style stuff. You have to know how to cut promos, you know. And if I'm not good at those things, I'll find someone who is. But like tag team wrestling, yeah, absolutely, because that's another facet of wrestling. I mean, it just is the same as women's wrestling. You know, I mean, these are all
different styles.
The different styles and all require a talent, you know, and all require, you know, a specific skill set. So yeah, tag wrestling, you know, I mean, was definitely going to be a big thing. And the guys I have that are going to come in and do seminars, they were both like I really wanted, like, you know, Alex Shelley, you know, who was obviously a singles competitor, but found great success in tag teams, much like myself, and you know, Ricky Morton to come down and things like that. So you know, things like that are really important to me because, yeah, I mean, tag team wrestling is quite, I mean, most people think like, oh, you know, it's just kind of like one other guy in a singles match, and it's like that could not be any further from the truth. So
yeah, because you see a lot of promotions, especially now, shying away from tag team wrestling. So I think there's definitely a market for it that fans want to see and people want to learn.
Absolutely.
So coaching style, you don't want to be overly buddy, but a lot of people are turning away from like that old school drill sergeant mentality now. How do you find a balance in between the two? And what do you see that has worked for you that maybe other coaches could adapt?
Well, first and foremost, you know, the nomenclature, the title is coach, but really it's leader.
Right.
And a fundamental part of being a leader is you know, leading by example, not as, you know, do as I say, not as I do. So, you know, and I'm not afraid to go and fail, you know, so they can see, oh, well, shit, Davey failed. It's okay if I don't get this first try. And like, and we, you know, as a team, and that's why I really emphasize we are team ambition, because we all suffer together, we all win together, you know. So my coaching style, I believe, because I got to train with Paul Orndorff, then I got to go through the Noah Dojo system. I firmly believe in you. This is going to sound bad. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but you have to break someone down so you can rebuild them stronger, because a lot of people don't know what they're capable of. They just don't. And but it is in there, and that is the challenge of a good trainer, coach, leader, whatever, is to find that pathway, no matter how, you know, narrow the corridor or winding the road may be, to finding that way to ignite that, you know, or you know, flip that switch, like, oh, I can do this. And it's like, yeah. And that's why I always tell people, like, I am the least talented person you will ever meet in pro wrestling, but no one will ever outwork me. And hard work always works, you know? So, you know, I grew up on a farm, you know, I come from an amateur wrestling background. So like, for me, it's like hard work always wins. And I really emphasize that, but the whole drill sergeant stuff is just, you know, like, I'm not a believer of participation trophies, but but my job is to open doors, open eyes, and motivate you. Not to, I don't ever want to
break you down. Yeah.
Be like, man, I fucking suck, dude. This is a fucking bullshit. And I don't want to go back. Like, you know, so it's, and I think another thing too is always explain why. You know, our tryout, we definitely had guys puking.
Yep.
And, you know, and I'm like, but it's a very big thing that in our team, if someone's down, you pick them back up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, and there's always a reason why. And it's like, you know, like, I had them at the end of practice after hundreds of squats and everything, run these stairs 20 times. And they were probably hating my guts, but I'm like, the reason why we're doing this is because people in wrestling, they get hurt. They hurt themselves. They hurt their opponent when they're tired. That's when mistakes are made. So you have to build up that cardio endurance, and you have to be able to, most importantly, to get the mental toughness, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like, this is the end of practice. Well, this is the last 5 minutes of match. That's probably the most important part of the match. You know what I mean? And and if I'm just gassed, my legs are gone, and I pick you up for like my pile driver, I mean, can you imagine all the, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a safety thing and a professionalism thing. So I think just explaining why, because Paul was a great trainer, but there was a lot of times just fucking do it, kid, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you don't want to go back to him. Like, I don't want that atmosphere in my gym.
Yeah. You want to be able to, there's going to be constructive criticism, but there's a difference between that and demeaning somebody to the point of destroying their morale.
Absolutely.